Hi there, Sagittarius. I'm EllaAradia, and welcome to your April 2026 Psychic Tarot reading. This reading is for my Sagittarius fire signs, where we'll be exploring the overall energies and themes for the month ahead, as well as taking a deeper dive into how these might be playing out for you in your life. This is a general reading, so it's going to resonate a little bit differently for all of you, but what I do find is there's always a shared theme that runs through the collective of all of you Sagittarius signs. It may show up in different areas of your lives in slightly different ways, but the theme is always the same. So take what feels aligned to you and just leave the rest. And before we jump in, a big thank you to all of you who are supporting my channel by liking and subscribing. So if you enjoy this reading and you haven't already done that, please do. It helps the channel out a lot. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, and then you can get notified when the next videos are up. So Sagittarius, let's jump in. So I always like to tune into the energies first, Sagittarius, before I start pulling any cards. I'm also a psychic reader, so I like to see what the universe shows me. I'm already seeing the image of a need to shake something off, a need to lighten up your energy in some way. And I feel like there have been, or there still is, some situations going on for many of you where your energy just feels like it's getting drained. And, you know, that could be showing up in your job. It could be showing up in your relationship or a friendship. And it's this feeling to me of, it's about that time of year, you know, new beginnings, fresh starts, new beginnings. And I feel like the universe is finding a way to kind of bring this into your awareness, because I feel like the universe is saying that there's more out there for you. There's more of life to experience, that it is possible to experience life in a different way, in a much fuller way, new opportunities, new connections. And there is a big invitation to, I feel like it's something that's really highlighted for you at the moment. You know, the things which are draining or heavy, or you feel like you're carrying something, particularly in, you know, let's say connections with others. You know, there's something that feels heavy, toxic, unhealthy, and it's really, really highlighted. And usually when something gets very, very highlighted like that, it's about to shift. So whatever this is, it is at its most intense moment. But there's a big invitation to step into a new energy in yourself, because there is another way to experience life, which is much more expanded, much more happy for you, much more whole, healthy, and complete. Because what is going on right now, I feel, is something that's pulling your energy down. And when I look at your energy field, I just feel like you could be, your aura could be vibrating, you know, at a much more expanded level. And it's almost like this is dimming your light in some way. And in order to really step into this new version of yourself, this new energy, it may involve, you know, leaving some things or some people behind, cutting ties, walking away from what, you know, doesn't feel healthy or nurturing in some way. So with your overall energies, we have the Five of Wands. This is often a card of conflict. It can be competition sometimes. And sometimes that can be an external conflict, or it can be one that's going on inside of us. What lies in your recent past is the High Priestess. Your current situation, the Eight of Swords. Your feelings towards your situation, the Devil. which is everything I've just spoken about. And the devil often comes up at a moment where we sometimes feel stuck or trapped. This is what the Eight of Swords is all about. It's about, feeling trapped in the mind, in the negative limiting beliefs that we might hold about ourselves or the future. And to me, this devil card represents, like I said at the beginning, the theme is the same, and it can be showing up in different areas of your life. It could be a job, it could be your relationship or a friendship or a connection with a family member. But it's something that, will feel unhealthy to you in some way. But maybe it's familiar. And so there's a little bit of a stuck energy here. There's a little bit of conflict, like with that Five of Wands there, around letting go of what really doesn't feel healthy for you anymore and taking a leap into a new energy, a new beginning, which sometimes that can be, that can make you feel a little bit insecure. It can be a little bit scary to do that. But the devil is all about integrating the shadow. So whatever negative limiting beliefs you might be holding about yourself, about life, this is an invitation with the devil here to actually kind of do a little bit of healing on that and let go of, what is really holding you back here from moving forwards. Not being afraid to, break free, to cut ties, because when you look at the image on the card, the chains around the neck are loose. And at any moment, the figures on the card there, they can take those off. And they can break free from, whatever's holding them. So yes, whatever this is, whoever this is, they may have served a purpose. There may be something, that you did get from that felt familiar, felt comfortable, felt safe in some way. But there's also a lot of, what feels like one-sided energies, unhealthy energies, which I feel have built up over time, where it's affecting your happiness, your needs are not being met, you're not feeling seen, understood, appreciated, all of those things. And the High Priestess in the past, this is all about your intuition, and she's very much this energy of she who knows. And you may be being asked at this time, to really tap into that sense of knowing, into your intuition, to really connect to the wisdom that holds to guide you forward. But it may involve facing some, fears and insecurities here, because, that's what it's going to take. You will have to face the fears in order to break free, from these unhealthy or toxic patterns, which are still holding you stuck. I mean, we're never really stuck. This swords represent, the mental landscape. So our beliefs, our thoughts, and all of that can be changed. All we need to do is really take one of those beliefs and really have a deeper look at it and really examine it and have a look at where did that really come from? Is it still true? Is it really true? Because there's a big kind of opening of a whole new chapter for you, Sagittarius. And I keep hearing the message over and over again, don't be afraid to walk away. Don't be afraid to lose, something or somebody that really, truly at this point in time doesn't feel for your highest and best. You're being asked to, pour into yourself at this time is what I'm feeling. Making choices and decisions, from the space of, someone who truly loves themselves. Even if it means, having a little bit of time, on your own. Even if it means, letting somebody go and cutting ties. There's more out there for you. And there is a different experience of life that you could be having, is what I keep seeing here. So what lies in the challenge? So the 9 of Swords. So this is a lot of energy around, thoughts, beliefs, fears, anxieties. And it feels to me that, you're really kind of like stuck in the mind here. A lot of thoughts, running around. It's often an energy where we're kind of going over and over something. And there could be an invitation here to kind of drop out of that and a little bit more into your heart energy moving forwards. Listen to what your heart's saying. Some of you, I feel like this is a romantic connection, and that's who this devil represents. Someone that, has kind of given something to you. There's always something we are getting out of something. But very often in terms of love, we tend to create what feels familiar to childhood. And there is an invitation here perhaps to go back into the past and have a look at, what is it about this that feels familiar? Because I just feel some very kind of self-absorbed, self-centered energies of the person that you're dealing with, where it's a lot to do with their needs and not yours. So definitely some lessons here in, looking after your emotions, your worth, your value, loving yourself. And it may be that, in whatever way this is showing up for you, that was always the invitation. But it might involve, going back to childhood and doing what we call some inner child healing. So much happens, in the first years of life with the dynamics that we might have with family at home, particularly with parents. Your hidden influence is the 2 of Pentacles. This is often an energy of, juggling a decision or juggling 2 things. It's also an energy of working out what is most important to you. It's a card of getting your priorities in order. And right now, I feel like that priority is you and what's happening with your energy, because as much as whatever the situation is, as much as it might feel, safe and secure and, it gives a sense of something, there's a lot of things which are feeling, very kind of toxic and out of balance. And there is a cost to that, which is, your energy, because there's this need to really, let this all go and allow your energy to lighten up so that you can be, more of who you truly are. And this is an energy of, really getting your priorities in the right place and looking at what is, most important to you in your life right now. And that's you, I feel, in this case. Looking after you in all of this. And not being afraid to, cut ties, to let go. With your advice from the universe, the Hermit, So there's a big calling here, especially with a high priestess, to go within at this time. You know, the Hermit is a card of self-reflection. And it represents a moment where, you know, when we go within to look for answers. And, you know, always remember when you do that, you know, that you've been through a lot, you've had a lot of life experiences, and you've learned a lot. You have a lot of wisdom. There's so much wisdom inside of yourself, but sometimes it needs a moment to just be still. Sometimes it's a moment where we need to spend a little bit of time alone in quietness and stillness so that we can, you know, go within and we can actually listen and hear, you know, the wisdom that we have inside of us. So this is all about reflecting, you know, reflecting, finding that wisdom and really using that to guide you in your next steps forward. Because I just feel there's so much more out there for you, and all of this, you know, whoever this devil represents, it might be more than one thing for some of you. It's really holding you back, and it's affecting your energy. So what lies in the outcome is the Five of Cups. So this is often a card of regret and emotional sadness, loss, disappointment. And there may be disappointment and there may be loss. But when you look at the image, there's still two cups standing. There's always a blessing to be taken from any experience, any situation. And the most important thing is, you know, take time to process your emotions, you know, whatever it feels like you've had to kind of walk away from or let go of. Maybe somebody even walked out of your life. That can be for some of you. And give yourself that time to heal, process your emotions, but just be careful that you don't get stuck with those emotions, you know, holding you in the past, because there are two new cups that are waiting there for you. And that could be new cup of love. For some of you, it's some kind of new opportunity, but it's also related to the heart and a new opportunity to open the heart to actually receive more of life, but in a much more healthy and positive way. And so that's the key. There's something about, you know, getting into the energy of feeling kind of worthy and deserving, I feel, of receiving more in life, of having, you know, what you truly want, and allowing the universe to bring that in for you, because that's the point that you're standing at right now. So Sagittarius, I'm going to leave that there. If this reading resonated, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, no matter what comes through in a reading, moving forwards, always trust what feels right for you. So thanks so much for being here, Sagittarius, and I wish you a great month ahead.